Whether you're a newbie seller or an experienced seller, you've probably had a launch that didn't go to plan. We've all had it. In this video today, I'm going to break down a recent launch I did that came out the gate and was disappointing. We're going to talk about exactly what I did, the strategies, the tactics, the mathematics, everything end to end that took this launch from a sputtering start to $22,000 in 30 days. Let's go. I've built and led multiple seven-figure Amazon brands. Now, I'm setting out to share how I did it, with radically transparent and detailed weekly videos. Join the journey with me and break free. Welcome to Heist. Back to Heist, the YouTube channel that is all things Amazon FBA by somebody that's actually doing it, myself. It's been a while since I've done a launch case study, probably like a month or so I wanted to break one down today. And the cool thing about this one, which I think is unique to the other ones in the new brand that I've been launching a lot of products on, frankly, things have been going awesome. I mean, I've had some challenges, some adversity, you always do, but they've been home runs, most of them. They've gone exactly according to plan, if not better than plan. I'm going to talk about another brand that I have in the home goods category, which is very aesthetics driven. So sometimes the probability of sticking a launch gets a little bit riskier. But I'm going to walk through a launch process that took place from the middle of August to the middle of September and show the blow-by-blow details like I always do. But the interesting thing here was it came out the gate and wasn't a success. In fact, the first half day I didn't have a sale. My first day had one sale on $400 of ad spend. It was a 400% ACOS. Really sputtered out the gate, and I had to face a lot of challenges. I had to tweak a lot of things. I had to adjust imagery. I had to adjust pay-per-click strategy, and I faced a suppression issue with the listing. So sit back, relax. I'm going to jump into my computer, and as per usual, we are going to go end to end, showing you things that no other Amazon YouTubers show, which is a behind-the-scenes look on a launch. Let's go to my computer. All right, guys, it feels great to be back in the launch case study cockpit here. You're going to come behind the scenes on my computer, and we're going to walk through this thing end to end. As I'd mentioned, this is an interesting launch. I'm calling it the hard launch because unlike the other ones I've shown with my newest brand on this channel, this one was more challenging. Didn't go perfect. Ran into probably more adversity, at least in terms of sales performance that first week than I have in quite a number of months. So I think it'll be a valuable case study for you guys to see how I go through troubleshooting launches that don't go precisely to plan. So beginning with the end in mind, as I always do, I'm going to flash up the numbers here for the first 30 days. So I think this was like September 13th to August 13th, roughly. You'll see over here on order product sales, this particular launch did $22,500.88. So a little bit lighter than the other ones I've shown here, but still pretty solid. Anytime I'm hitting over 20,000, it's a good ace, and if we can keep that going. You'll see here the sessions was just about 4,200. It's a more expensive aesthetic-driven product, so these ones you'll typically see a lot lower conversion rates. So you'll see here that the conversion rate was just shy of 5%, and we had 209 units ordered. So that's a summary of the overall performance. So the product strategy. So again, most of the case studies, in fact, all the case studies up to this one on this channel, I've done on a recent brand that I launched in late 2019, December 20th, 2019. This brand is a couple years old. It's in the home goods category, which is a little bit different than my normal playbook. Frankly, I probably wouldn't do this kind of approach if I was launching a brand today because it doesn't have an isolated customer type, isolated passion base, which is kind of what I'm leaning more towards now as I launch new brands. But nonetheless, this brand was constructed with a really high aesthetic, premium priced, premium product offering within home and kitchen categories. So this fit within that same niche. The goal with this launch is to tackle a particular market. It's a mirror that this product was, and have an aesthetic differentiation on a specific search term type and mirror type that people are looking to buy. Similar audience to other products. So this brand has a whole fleet of different products from home and bedroom to kitchen. This one, mirror could kind of be used either in the bathroom or really anywhere in the house. But it's got a very similar customer base. It's typically going to trend more female, the audience here, and it's going to be people that have a very particular aesthetic and design type with how they want to do home decor in their house. The main long-term goal with this ASIN is that it can function as the Trojan horse where we can tack on additional colors, shapes, designs, and riff off of the original that we'll launch, but add variations over time and build on the review count that this Trojan horse ASIN is going to build up. So while this is, you never want to look too far ahead, you want to really focus on succeeding with the ASIN that you launch. I'm also thinking about the longer term library of variations that can be tacked onto this, and that's definitely part of the strategy. The market here, just looking pretty heavy hitter on the top side of this. It's $113,000 on average per month for most folks. The first page is $54,000. Again, with these home decor niches, it's really difficult to identify what the average is going to be for you, because sometimes when aesthetics play into it, there's just a lot of different variables that go in. So it's a little less isolated as some of the more passion-based markets are. But that gives you a broad spectrum of where the market is. As I always do, and I think this is critically important, you want to map out what your goals or what your anticipated success is going to look like if things go well. You want to be thinking through what you want to achieve coming into a launch. Absolutely did that here. So coming into this launch, my goal with this ASIN is to do $20,000 to $40,000 per month. I think it's probably going to be most months in the 30,000-ish range. But again, I'll also be able to tack on additional ASINs if this is successful and do similar volume for the variations that I add on. So I think this cluster of ASINs that feed into this, has the potential to be a six-figure a month product line and product suite once things get all tucked in. The target end price on this one is $129. So we're looking at doing somewhere between 150 to 300 units a month, depending on how the performance shakes out. Goal here is to be one of the top 2 premium options. There's a handful of really premium, high design, high aesthetic, high quality items. Some of them have a bit of a brand. I wouldn't say a name brand, but definitely a bit of a brand behind them. I want to be in that cluster. They're selling for $150. I think at the $129 price point, I'm still in the premium price category, but I want to kind of tangle with those folks in the top. There's also some bottom feeders that are selling similar mirrors for $80 or $90. Not really interested in competing with them too much here. I want to win with photography, as I always like to do. It's specifically important when you're in a home goods, kitchen, home decor category, because people are buying and envisioning how the thing will look or exist within their home. So aesthetics are hugely important. Added human beings into some of the photos, which a lot of home decor brands don't do. So human beings can really help sell and tell the story of your product. Also had some installation benefits. So spent a decent amount of time on the bracketing on the back half of this mirror, just spacing it so that it provided some leeway on the installation, made it easier to install. One of the challenges with some of the other competitors, which have a much more finite kind of hook that you can install on the wall. So bit of a usability advantage that we're playing on as well, which is sold in the bullets and in the photography. And then a big thing here was cost optimization. Sometimes this isn't a huge part of what I do, but sometimes it's critically important. So I spent a ton of time sourcing a factory for this. We ordered a lot of different samples, finding where could we get a really high quality, the right color element that we want, the right frame, and then also package it in a way that optimized costs. So I believe that I got this product probably $8 or so less than what most sellers on Amazon are getting it for. Especially these premium price ones, I would almost guarantee that we're saving substantially more. That gives me the ability to be more aggressive on my marketing, gives me the ability to capture more margin, get a higher ROI, dump and invest more into this product category. So sometimes sourcing and identifying both quality as well as cost options that can give you an advantage over the competition can be critically important. So that was the goal here. Let's dive into this strategy. Very similar to strategies that I've been deploying really the last 6 months here. Leverage super friendlies, which we'll get into, existing customer channels, because we have built up an audience with this brand, even though it's relatively small. External advertising, and then obviously really targeted pay-per-click strategy, which I've got a specific strategy I use for launches with Amazon ads. Super friendlies, you guys know the story. I'm not going to kind of belabor this too much. I'll leave a link up to a recent case study if you want to check it out after this video. I'll also leave a link to it at the end, as well as the description to all of my others. But the gist of this is you don't want to get somebody that is a friend or family member or coworker, especially if they use the same computer, same phone, same Wi-Fi connection as you. Reason being is like Amazon can triangulate that, and if you get too many friends and families buying products, but more importantly, if they end up leaving a review, even if you don't ask them, it can ding your account and kind of flag some risk activity on your account. So friends of friends. So in this case, this was a mirror. I knew a couple people that were moving into a new house. And some people, I just know that this design aesthetic would really fit well with how they design their home. So I reached out to them. I said, hey, so you're moving into a place. My Home Goods Amazon brand, we're launching a new mirror. I think it really fits within your vibe and your aesthetic. Would you be interested in trying it out? I'll give you a crazy discount if you want to give me feedback on how the listing looks on Amazon, as well as just your general vibe on the product. That was the pitch. Got a handful of them through that. Got a handful of previous customers that we built up with this brand that have bought other products and just kind of engage with us, and we know that they like our brand, like our products, and are great at giving us kind of advice on the stuff that we launch. Tuck some of those in as well. So we had 7 total for this to do super friendlies. What I use super friendlies for is a couple things. Goal number 1 is to help index and rank the product on Amazon. So when they're searching it out, when they're doing research on the ASIN, it leaves behaviors, especially with the keywords that are used, to signal to Amazon that, hey, this product is relevant for this keyword. The behaviors on looking at the photos, telling us what they like about the bullets, looking at competitors and giving us feedback on them as well, also sends normal buying behavior kind of signals to Amazon, which can help kind of get your listing indexed and ranked organically. One thing that I definitely don't recommend doing, it's really up to you whether or not you want to do this or not. A lot of folks will explicitly ask friendlies or rebate people for a review. It's absolutely against Amazon terms of service. You can't incent a product, whether it's giving it to them for free, giving them a discount code, or giving them a full or partial rebate, and then explicitly say, hey, I want you to leave a review for me on this as well. It's a no-no. It's against terms of service. If you get enough low-quality buyers that do this, it can absolutely tag your account. And for the buyer, this is a little bit less so for the seller, but for the buyer, it's actually against Federal Trade Commission rules in the United States as well. So some people do it. I'm not saying like what you want to do. I'm not your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, whatever. You can do what you want to do, but just know that there's risk if you do it. Here's the cool thing though. When you reach out, genuinely want feedback on your product, offer a kick-ass product and experience, and engage with people and let them know that you care about their opinion and they give you feedback, they're engaged with the process. They want you to succeed too. Oftentimes, even without asking for a review, they will leave it. So anyway, that's up to you on how to do that. But that's super friendlies. We had 7 of them here. Between product cost, the Amazon fulfillment fee, and the Amazon referral fee, it was a $486 investment to do these super friendlies. And learned a couple good things about this listing too. We tweaked some of the verbiage. We deselected one of the photos and added another one in. So we got some really good insights into how shoppers perceived our product as well as others within this market on Amazon. Also tapped into existing customers. I'm not going to go into all the details here, but we have a small email list. I think it's like 1,000 people or something like that, or maybe it's 1,500. So we did an email broadcast. We did a messenger broadcast. I think we have about 700 people in the messenger. We did a text broadcast, which I think has about 50 or 70 people in it. So we did a text message. And then we also did Facebook pixel retargeting for people that have visited our Shopify site for this audience. We reach back out and do a retargeting ad and target them that way. Again, don't need to have a massive list here. This brand isn't massive. We don't spend a ton of time with this brand in particular on driving building up the audience externally. It's in the cards for next year, but it doesn't need to be a big audience. Even if you've got a handful of people, spend 5 minutes sending the email out. You generally will generate a handful of sales, which will contribute to the ability of your launch to be a success. So we did all these things with existing customers. And external ads. You guys know that I have been on an external ads kick for good reasons, because it is a monster strategy for impacting your ability to index, to rank, to send signals to Amazon that you're a legit ASIN that should be ranked highly organically, and it drives a whackload of sales. So I've been doing this, as you know, with a lot of my launches. With this particular launch, I did Google ads and Reddit ads. Later in this launch, I think really like the last 5 days, And on an ongoing basis, we've added Pinterest ads to the mix, which, as you guys know, I've done a video on both Google ads, Reddit ads, and Pinterest ads. But for the actual launch period on how this thing got ranked, it was Google ads and Reddit ads. And we spent a decent amount of investment on this. So the Google ads, we spent about $1,500. We got over 2,000 clicks. The average cost per click was 67 cents. The Reddit ads was spent $490, and you'll see here that we got 610 clicks for a 79-cent cost per click on this. Here's the key thing, guys. If you remember that screenshot I showed at the very first part of this deck, which highlighted the performance over 30 days, I think it was like 4,200 roughly clicks that we had on this ASIN during that 30-day launch period. 2,920 or 70% of the clicks that were driven to this ASIN at launch came from external traffic. The total cost was $2,000. It was 70 cents per click. But as I've shown with some of my deep dive into the data that Amazon keeps on its users using my own personal buyer account and the California Privacy Act, I've been able to see this exact backend data on my buying account. And you can see here on one of my searches that I did on Amazon, it came from a Google as the external search domain, but they're also tagging whether it came from an ad. Why are they doing this? They're obviously attributing traffic that comes outside of Amazon to your listing, and they absolutely can give credit if it sends signals, success signals to Amazon. So I think that was very much a key part, as usual with my launch strategy, that was really effective here. 70% of the clicks came from external traffic, and it was a key part in my view on how we were able to turn this launch around and ultimately deliver over $20,000 within the first 30 days. So that was the 4-pronged strategy. Let's get into Amazon PayPerClick. As you guys know, I have very specific Amazon PayPerClick strategies I deploy. The key thing here is that you want to have hyper relevant terms. You want to be focused on the ones that you know convert, looking at least 10 of your competitors, seeing where they're ranking organically, looking at your product honestly and figuring out where you would be most relevant, where you would most likely be able to compete, and targeting those words. What I do so that the budget gets distributed evenly and I get as many eyeballs as possible on as many relevant keywords as possible is I like to splice up and do at least 10 campaigns typically to chop up the manual exact campaigns. So I'll bucket them into, say, words that are over 5,000 searches a month, and I'll put 5 to 10 of those words in one campaign. Then I'll look at ones that are, say, 5,000 to 3,000 words. Again, same thing, put about 5 of them in a campaign. Cluster those that are around 1,000 searches, put 5 to 10 per campaign, and keep going down. The only bucket that I put that's larger than, say, 10 or 12 keywords is the ones that are less than 300 monthly searches a month. We'll tuck those into one campaign, and sometimes I can have 30 or 40 words in it. Just because they're not getting as many reps, as many eyeballs, as many searches, you can get away with having more of those in a bucket. So we have lots of campaigns spliced up, so we can target them definitively and know where we're succeeding and also drive the budget and traffic appropriately. I'll get into this later, so stick around because I tie into this later, but actually had to significantly alter the approach after the first day of data that came out of Amazon PayPerClick, and we'll get into why I did that and how I did that. In addition, we did the top 10 competitive ASINs, which is basically those that are successful, those premium options that I mentioned that I wanted to target, as well as the ones that I think that we're relevant for but could also compete really well against given our offer. And this is a screenshot of exactly what the campaigns look like. I took out the portfolio, which revealed precisely what the product is, but you can kind of just see here, right? I've got high relevance, 2,000 plus words, high relevance, high volume words, competitor targeting, 4,000 plus, 1,500 plus. You can see all this. The LV is low volume, so we had a decent amount on this, but this is all the campaigns that we launched. You can see the daily budget, you can see CTR, spend, cost per click, orders, ACoS, and ROAS here. So you can see it all in terms of how this thing performed. And we'll dive in a little bit more later on in terms of the ACoS performance and how this thing shook out. As you guys know, I love to dig in before launching, critical point, before launching into all of the cost and pricing elements and margin elements of the product to determine if it's worth my investment to go after the product. I also like to map out what it's going to cost me at my launch price, as well as what it's going to be in a worst case price scenario, as well as the target price scenario. So in this case, we launched for $99, and again, our target is to get to $129. My thought, knowing the market, knowing how the product is perceived, the quality, the buyer profile, I think worst case, I can sell this thing for $119. That's what I was thinking coming in. And mapping that out, my landed COGS on this product was $39.45. So that includes factory costs, that includes inspections, that includes putting it on a boat and getting it here. It includes all the tariffs that are incurred, the freight to get it to my warehouse, the freight to get it to Amazon's warehouse. It's the all-in cost into an Amazon's warehouse is $39.45. The FBA fulfillment cost for Amazon to pick, pack, and ship it in this case is $15.10. A key thing here, because size matters, it's like the ladies say, I optimized the box size and the box weight in this particular case to optimize the fulfillment fees. So we saved a little bit of money on that. Actually came back to bite us big time. And I'll get into this later on in terms of how that decision hurt us. But that's the FBA fulfillment cost. The referral cost is just a percentage based on whatever the price is. So it kind of changes depending on the pricing scenario. And you'll just see here, it's between $29.60 here, $46.60 or $55.10 in terms of the gross margin dollar amount. The key thing here, if you want to scale and grow on Amazon, if you want to make money, and if you don't want to have to go into your savings or get loans from banks or beg your parents or your uncle for money, you want this gross profit number here to be at least higher than the landed COGS. So if you'll see here in this launch case as an example, getting really aggressive on price because we've got no reviews. We've got to get those early sales, that velocity to send signals to Amazon so it'll rank us organically. And then once reviews come in, we can kind of rifle the price up a little bit and capture more margin. But if I were to keep this price going, this would not be a sustainable product. And you say, well, what the heck, Adam? Like, you're almost 30% gross profit. That's pretty badass. Like, that's a great product. The problem is that if I kept that price going, I would only get $29.60 in gross profit, but I have to go out and buy the product from the factory for $39.45. So I would need to borrow money. I'm not able to use the cash spitting out from the business to go and buy additional inventory. So that's why you want to be in one of these scenarios here where the gross profit exceeds the landed COGS. Very, very key point to do this math beforehand, have all these numbers sussed out and understand what you're getting yourself into and that you can make the math work. Because if you can't make the math work on paper, you're absolutely not going to be able to make the math work when reality hits. So existing customers, we got into this on the rebates, spent $486 on the rebates and a whopping $4 on the messenger broadcast, so $490 total targeting existing customers. External ads, we broke that down earlier, spent $2,000 on that between Google and Reddit. And then PayPerClick here, well, we spent $5,600, so a big part of the launch budget to garner almost $15,000 worth of sales. We have a ROAS of 2.59 and an ACoS of 38.67. So if you go back here, you'll see here that anytime that you're at or below these numbers, you're basically in the money and it's a profitable campaign. So at the normal costs here, we would be hitting profitability even with this launch. So that's actually fantastic. I want this to be in the 20s by the time that this thing gets more mature. Within the first, call it 60 to 120 days, I'm going to bring that down. But for a launch ACoS to be sub 40%, not bad at all. I'll take that all day, every day. I think when you start to see ACoS north of 70, 80% over the first 30 days, it gets a little bit more troubling. You absolutely don't want to see it north of 100%. And we'll get into that happening exactly with this campaign and what we did about it in the early stages of the PayPerClick campaign. So that's the economics. Let's get into how this thing shook out, as well as the key problems that we encountered, and more importantly, how we troubleshooted them and overcame them. So the results, 209 orders, 134 of those from PayPerClick, 22,500 in sales. We went over that. This is a breakdown of the launch keyword, which has roughly 20,000 monthly searches, but this is very specific, hyper relevant. If I can win on this keyword, I have a really good shot at winning in the category, and you can kind of just see how this jostled around. But we ended up landing typically top 7 really on the back half of this campaign. We actually ended up hitting the top position on September 1st. So that's just a launch keyword performance on the hyper targeted word that we wanted to focus on. The first is the photo issue that we encountered. I'll walk them through how this happened. So again, there was a bit of a day zero here where it was about a half day where we launched. Literally had 0 sales that were outside of the friendlies. Like, super bummer, right? Like, you come into this, you think, especially me, I'm like, I'm an experienced seller. I know what I'm doing. I got this all figured out. I've got these fantasies of what this thing's going to do. Hey, maybe I'll do 50 grand on this thing the first month. I know that's a possibility. The product's awesome. My photography's awesome. My listings kick ass. People are going to love it. Well, guess what? Boom, boom, boom. 0 sales the first half day. Okay. Can happen. Let's see what the first full day brings. Wah, wah, wah. We had 75 people visit the ASIN. We spent $400. We only got 1 sale. The conversion rate was 1.33%. I was super bummed out at this point. It's like, hey, you do all this work on the launch, you spend months researching the product, you get samples, you work with the factory, the packaging, the photography, you do all this work, and then you have all these fantasies of grandeur on how this thing's going to kick butt, and then the first day and a half you have 1 sale, and you're getting your ass handed to you, and it's not going going how you want it to go. So a lot of people, frankly, and I see this all the time, especially with new sellers, they lock up at this point. They start blaming Amazon PayPerClick. They start saying that Amazon sucks. They start blaming customers. They start blaming their factory. Like, there's all kinds of things that they point to for why it's not working, and they sit and hope it gets better. They watch the numbers day after day after day continue to not deliver what they want, and they wallow in their own sorrow. What I did here is say, look, something's wrong with my offer. I think the price is okay. I think the brand obviously is cool, but like, something's not working here. And I honed in on the listing image. I said, look, I think that this is just not getting the click through. We're not getting the performance that we need. People aren't seeing the value of this product on the listing image. We've got to mix it up. So day 2, we changed the listing image once, and it got a little bit better. We had 5 units ordered that day, just about $500 in sales. We started to see the unit percentage come up here to 5%. So certain things are starting to get a little bit better, but it still wasn't there. Like, this, it was still not tenable even at this point. So I said, hey, I'm going to do one subtle variation from that photo. I changed the angle a little bit on it and a little bit of the lighting a little bit. I'm like, let's just see if this helps pop it a little bit more so people can see the value of this mirror. And then day 3, that's when things opened up again. We had 13 orders come through, 8% conversion rate. Some of that would have been filtered in with some friendlies, obviously, and $1,300 in sales. So if I went out this first day and a half and didn't do anything and kept that going, I probably would have seen the same performance for the entire first month, and it would have negatively impacted the indexing, the organic rank, and the ability of this product even to succeed. I probably would have never ordered this product again if I had done nothing. But you adjust, you course correct, you get punched in the face, you shake it off, and you figure out what you're going to do next. And in this case, we had to change the image twice to get where we needed to go within the first couple of days. So key point here, experiment with the listing image if performance is poor. If you're seeing poor click-through rate, you're not seeing sales, you're not seeing your offer aligning well with customers, you've got to mix it up and focus on the listing image and making some tweaks there, testing it and watching the data come in the coming days and seeing if that helps. So that was troubleshooting number 1, was the listing image issue. PayPerClick was also a massive issue. You saw the numbers were sub 40% ACOS. It was a pretty successful launch PayPerClick strategy. But day 1, look at how ridiculous and stupid this is. I spent $411 for $99 in sales, 415% ACOS. This would have destroyed me if I kept this going. You can't spend $400 a day and have 400% ACOS unless you want to go bankrupt. It's just not going to work. So I had to go back to the drawing board again. I'm like, hey, I think I had this figured out. I thought I had all my keywords dialed perfectly, had my campaigns chopped up, manual exact. It's a formula that works with consistency, but it wasn't working here. So what I had to do is I had to go in and look at all the keywords, look at the data, look at the click-through rates, look and see what was happening. If I had a decent amount of impressions and it wasn't working, something was off. So what I did here is I did a course correction on the strategy and focused on hyper relevant words. So there's a very specific design language to this mirror, a very specific color to it. So I focused on basically only those terms. So if it had bathroom vanity mirror, even though my competitors were ranking for it and I thought that this product was going to do well for it, I killed bathroom vanity mirror. It was too broad. It wasn't hyper relevant enough. Maybe in the months ahead when I have reviews and I have a little bit more of a mature ASIN, I can succeed on that keyword. But at this launch, it wasn't working. So I killed all of the secondary relevant words and focused only on the hyper ones. The reason being is you want to send signals to Amazon that when you get eyeballs on this product, when you get clicks on this product, you're going to get sales, and it's relevant to the words and it's relevant to Amazon customers. When you do that, Amazon rewards you. When you convert on keywords, they rank you organically for them. So we dialed this back and focused on hyper-relevant terms. And you see here from day 1 even to day 2, we saw a dramatic reduction in ACoS down to 53%. And then through the course of that first month, drew it down to sub 40%. But again, most sellers don't do this. They put out a bunch of auto campaigns. They put out a bunch of broad campaigns. They've done their keyword research. Their work is done. They put it out there. And they just hope it's successful. And if it's successful, it's no issue, right? Like they were like, yeah, we're all smart, it worked. But when it's not successful, you can't sit and wait. You can't let negatively performing pay-per-click campaigns continue to drag out, because it's going to have a massive detrimental impact on your product and the success of your launch. So troubleshoot poor ad performance immediately. This isn't something you wait till week 2, 3, 4 for. You need to wait maybe a day or two, and if it's not working, course correct, evaluate the data the next couple days. If it's still not working, continue to course correct. Check click-through rate and conversion rate. Kill non-hyper relevant keywords that aren't converting, that are getting a lot of clicks, but nothing's happening. Focus budget on words that work and add these back after reviews. It's not to say that you can't try these later, but don't detriment your 30-day launch period where you've got a honeymoon period and Amazon's giving you a lot of grace and a lot of benefit. Don't waste that, and come back to those when you've got a more mature ASIN. So key troubleshooting point number 2 was the Amazon pay-per-click. Now for the fun part. Remember how I said that my box, I saved $1.80 on fulfillment costs? Part of that was because we were able to trim the size. We used this like really air-packed kind of plastic thing to secure the mirror. We drop tested it from 10 feet, all these different angles. I thought it was dialed. I'm like, crap, we're geniuses here. We shaved a bunch of weight off. We're saving $1.18 and it's fully protected. Well, it wasn't fully protected. If you come down to performance, voice of the customer here, for every single ASIN, you can see what your performance is from a customer experience or CX standpoint. And if you get below a certain standard that Amazon has, I think it's roughly about 10% of orders. If 10% or more of those orders are defective, are damaged, have some kind of issue, they will shut down your ASIN and they'll suppress it. And that's exactly what happened here. Got the email and got the notification that the listing was suppressed due to customer experience issues. Well, crap. So dug in, come in here and said, sure enough, damn it, 19% of customers that were returning product had issues. You'll see damaged item was a major part of what that was. You can also click through and see all of the commentary here, and it's pretty obvious where we went wrong. Mirror shattered. Broken in package when arrived. Shattered glass. Mirror is broke, glass is shattered. First one came broken and afraid to open this package. One mirror was cracked on arrival. Mirror was cracked and broken. Did not fit well, so that one wasn't broken. But then the last one, mirror was broken. So we messed up. The product, whether it was UPS not kind of handling it right or whatever the case is, it was breaking with regularity. Customers were receiving it and having to return the product due to that defective issue. So what do you do when this happens? First of all, realize that it's you that's accountable, okay? This isn't the customer's fault. This isn't Amazon's fault. This isn't UPS's fault. This isn't even your factory's fault. You were the one that designed and evaluated the product, that inspected the product, that had it designed for your customers' needs, and you're the one that screwed up. So don't blame anybody else but yourself. And in this case, that was on me. I thought I could optimize the packaging, but it turned out that created a big issue with breaking mirrors. So to get it turned back on, the good news is when you get a listing suppressed due to a CX issue, it's pretty easy to fix. The main thing that you want to do initially is edit the listing. So you go in this case, added some stuff here about mirrors. If they become broken, don't hesitate to reach out and we'll make it right. So we added some language there. We also added and updated some automated communications to get in front of the issues, to let customers know, hey, we've been seeing that some of these have been getting broken. Let us know if that happens to you and we'll make it right. But yeah, so you either need to edit the listing or you need to pull it out of the Amazon warehouse or have them dispose of it. In this case, we edited the listing, we updated customer communications, and immediately we reached back out to the factory and said, hey guys, we were already ordering our second batch. We need to fix this. Completely redesigned the box, made it out of foam, made it larger, did all kinds of crazy drop tests, did puncture tests from the side, added a glass shattering sticker on the front, which we didn't have on the first one, to help UPS know that you're handling something that's glass. But most importantly, make it right. You screwed up. You didn't deliver the customer experience that you needed to deliver. The only person that can fix that is you. So anything that you can do to make it right by customers, do so, and that's absolutely something that we enacted here. So luckily, we're back on track. I still anticipate more of these are going to get broken. I think we have another 120 or something to sell through before the next batch comes in. We're just going to have to work it through this first issue. Luckily, we've had no negative reviews as a result of this. So I think the fact that we've been able to make it right, the product still is really good quality when it's not broken, has done us right. So those are 3 troubleshooting issues. If we didn't deal with this stuff, honestly, this would have been a colossal failure. If we didn't fix the photos, we probably never would have converted. If we didn't fix the Amazon PayPerClick campaign, we probably wouldn't have had the ranking benefit that we've seen and the ultimate performance that we saw. If we didn't address the customer experience issues, we'd be dead in the water and never ordering this product again. So things don't always go right, but this is how we address them here. So lessons learned. Again, I like to, at the front end of a launch, understand what my goals are. I also want to understand and reflect and gain wisdom from each and every launch on what went good, what went poorly, and how can I take that in to be a better Amazon seller and a better brand owner moving forward. First of all, launches aren't perfect. I think that's always the case, but it was an exclamation point on this one. Key thing here, don't blame externalities. It's not Amazon's fault. It's not your customer's fault. It's not Chinese sellers' fault. It's not Amazon PayPerClick's fault. It's not your factory's fault. It's your fault. If things don't go well, it's nothing that you can do to blame other people. You got to look at what you can control, what you can fix, and influence that. Second, photos matter. It's amazing how dramatic the changes were on this particular launch when we changed the photo once, but more importantly, when we did that third tweak. If we would have stuck with the original, it would have had a totally different outlook on the entire performance of this product. This might go from a product that Lifetime does $1 million+ to one that I would have killed on the first order. So have alternative listing images at the ready and be ready to test and tweak images, especially if performance is slacking from what you want it to be. Bad pay-per-click can bury you. If you keep on putting out keywords that aren't converting, that are sending bad signals to Amazon, you're going to have bad things happen to your listing. That's my little dog, Sugar and Ginger. Watch customer feedback. Go to that performance notifications, go to customer experience, see what your percentage of returns and defects are, and more importantly, look at the comments and absorb the comments. If there's good feedback there for you to improve, inject those into your listing. And then finally, as I've shown, I think with this channel and my various case studies, external traffic is king. You can kill it with external traffic. It sends awesome signals to Amazon and gives you additional sales and performance for your launch. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed another launch case study. We do this all the time. Pull the kimono back and share all the data, all the gory details, all the strategies and tactics. If this is your first heist video, or if you've been here before and haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We do this all the time, and we have many more coming. If you guys have any more questions, comments, or ideas, drop them down in the comments below. If not, we will see you next week. Cheers.